Um, I was just talking, like I said, I was just talking yesterday to somebody who claims to be an expert, you know what I mean? And he was telling me some of his stories of how these things operate and how rituals work. And you were saying there, you know, they have these blood rituals where they drink the blood and it gives them that ability to possess the vessel more than they usually could. Do you know what I mean? In that brief moment where the blood's in the system that they went into, and it's a literally invitation to allow them to take over more. So I think schizophrenics, like Jerry Marzinski deals with, they didn't necessarily invite the demon in, but the demon's battling in there for dominance, and that's where the cognitive dissonance and the disarray comes from, and the symptoms of schizophrenia come from. You know what I mean? This insanity type thing, because it's an internal struggle through an ignorance and fear of not knowing what's going on. Do you get what I mean? But these people who willingly let them in and know what they're doing probably allow a more powerful channel.
Yep.
But he was explaining to me how it seems like demons, when they possess a human, they actually don't have that much control over the faculties. It's actually a very weak connection. And he says when they look out of a human's eyes, because it's not their eyes, they have to kind of like take control and really struggle to look through your eyes. And they can only see like 5 feet ahead through the vessel's eyes. And he explained it like this. He says they love to attach themselves to objects that are shiny. He says they won't attach themselves to a teddy bear, but they'll attach themselves to the eyes of a teddy bear because they're reflective. He says because that reflective nature of the object gives them a more panoramic view of what's going on in the room. They can see better within the reflective thing. And trying to see through our eyes is actually difficult for them because it's just a pinpoint thing that has a directional form to it. Do you get what I mean? And they can't necessarily see what's behind the person when coming into our vessel to see it. And I thought that was an interesting take. Because we always assumed they're kind of like ghosts that can see everything just floating around us. But that's not actually how they're described as being. They're described that they wander in dry places. And it's like they have very little view of our world. All they can see are nodal points or connections they can slip into. And suddenly they're in a body. It's like, I can see. Do you get what I mean? It's more like that. It's more like a... And what we do in the physical creates a portal in the spiritual that they can see the portal. And they'll take it. At any chance and opportunity they get, they'll take it because they're desperate to reside in a body where it's not chaos anymore. They can have some semblance of peace and also experience things loosely, weakly through our senses because they're not. It's ours. These are our senses. This is our body, not theirs. It's God's body as well. They don't own it. It's not their property. So to use us is difficult. It takes a lot of work and stress, especially if we don't know they're there and we're not allowing them, we haven't given them permission. But they'll still take the channel through that little bit of permission we gave them when we drag spirits, for example. We opened up a small, weak portal. They got in there and they're using everything they can. But the more consciously aware of the action you're making, the more you make that portal wider, I suppose. You make that in there, the more they can then possess you.
Yes.
Be you. And that's where you get blackout murderers who don't remember killing people. You know, I think that's where you get to that state. You know, but it takes work to get that far. It turns out demons aren't as powerful as we think they are. They're very weak. They don't have a lot of strength or control over us initially. A lot of them are just happy to sit there and notice and do the best. You don't always see them. You don't always know they're there because they're not making a habit of letting themselves be known. They're just happy to dwell in a vessel and have some peace. Do you get what I mean? So there are obviously some psychotic ones out there who do want to take control, who do have an agenda, probably have a boss who can know these. You know, but what we do know is they're not to be feared. We have the weapons to fight. That's kind of what's really important at the end of the day, through Jesus Christ and his sacrifice and what he did for us and the authority he handed over to us after he defeated them and death itself, you know. So they are weak is what I'm learning, and they are sneaky. They are happy to remain hidden if you give them the chance. But they, like I said, these idiots who do these rituals, these blood rituals, it's not even about the blood ritual. It's just about proving to them that you're safe for them to manifest more. Because they don't want to bump into somebody who's going to suddenly cast them out with the Holy Spirit. They don't want that, you know. So it's, yeah, I'm always learning more.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Well, yeah, I think I'll wrap up the stream there. I know we've gone over the 2 hour mark. But yeah, Paul, I really want to thank you for coming on again. It's always absolute pleasure, always very much a learning experience. I'm highly appreciative of what you're doing. I also want to thank your audience. So, guys, you might not be aware, when Paul and I discuss, we dual stream. And so, yeah, people on Paul's audience, I want to thank you guys. I've noticed quite a few of you subscribing and commenting. You guys have been, especially Wendy. She's an absolute legend, one of your crew there. I also want to thank Mr. McCool, who had recently supported our stream. And guys, if you want to support the Spellbreakers podcast, please go to thespellbreakerspodcast.com or buymeacoffee.com/thespellbreakerspodcast. And Paul, very excited for your book coming out. So I know you're Understanding Conspiracy on YouTube, at UCONSPIRACY on Twitter. Where can people find you? How can they support you? And when is this book coming out? I'm very excited.
Yeah, so YouTube is where you'll find me. Understanding Conspiracy. You can find me on other platforms as well. On Instagram, it's just Paul Anthony Stobbs. It's an old account I use for my artwork, which somehow now has become my account that people communicate with me with on there. So you can always send me messages on there if you're interested. I have a Telegram group called Understanding Conspiracy. Links are in every description on all my videos, so you can just join there. There's about 600, 700 people in there now. It's really cool. It's a nice group, different categories to discuss all sorts of topics and share information. So check that out. I'm always on there talking as well. It's a good direct link to me. You can always email me at understandingconspiracy@gmail.com. Straightforward. If you have anything you want to share with me, you can always send me information there. And people do, and I don't always respond because I get a lot of messages, but I do always read them. So please don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm thankful for all the messages people do send me. And if you want to support me, I'm on Patreon, Understanding Conspiracy, and there is a GoFundMe for the book. The GoFundMe is there as a pre-order system. So it's £100 or more. That's about $125. And it gets you a free signed copy of the book once published. I'll be personally sending that to you myself, just as a thank you, and to help me pay for any publishing costs and things like that on top of that as well. And the support's been amazing on there. I already have about 50 books I need to send out, and it's going to be a big job. I'm thinking I might cap that at 7,000. So I only send out a maximum of like 60 books, so I don't have too much work to do on that one. But go check that out if you want to support the book. Hopefully the book should be finished by the end of this year. I'm making good headway lately. I'm writing a lot right now. I've got about 15 more chapters to write. I've already written about 17. So I'm just over halfway there through it. But I think by the end of the year I should have a finished product. Whether somebody wants to pick that up and actually publish it for me, we'll see. That's another thing, a whole other thing. If not, I'll self-publish probably at the end of the year, maybe into the early next year. So that's my own personal goal projection. That's where I want to be. I want to have a finished book by the end of this year. So
fantastic. Very excited for that. Yeah, just the bits you had read out on the stream today. It sounds like incredible stuff. I'm super excited. I'll make sure to plug it on my end when it's released. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for everybody for joining. Paul, I'm going to close down the stream here on my side and then say a quick goodbye. And happy Sunday, everybody.